Greetings. This is Greg for Tesla Fan Insight. Today's topics we cover are Nikola versus the Tesla Semi, any kind of updates and what's going on there. The second thing we cover today is the Elon Musk buyout. And the third thing we cover today is, I want to say, nightmares for BMW, Mercedes, Audi, VW, etc. when it comes to the Model 3. Greetings, John. I want to thank all of you that are visiting with us and that say hello. Unfortunately, if I say hello to everyone, it's going to mess up the flow of our show, so I'll try to do so at the end. Would love to have any questions that you may have so that we can answer them at the end of our show. As you can see from today's, our background is a place called Anacostia Park. I'll try to give you guys a little bit of a view of the boats here and some of the ducks, etc. It's one of our nicer locations in DC. Enough respect. So one of the things I love doing, our channel doubled in size after we started covering trucks. And so one of the efforts that I tend to make is that we try to jump into the topic of trucks at least once a week, once every other week, for an update on Tesla Semi or others that are in the space. I'm choosing to start today with updates on what's going on with Nikola, because the latest from Nikola is that there's a European firm that is now partnered with Nikola to build out the hydrogen fueling facilities, at least nationwide in the United States, to support the implementation of the Nikola fleet. I have to say that I truly believe that this truck will never be built, and if it is, it's not going to be profitable. But you know, sometimes you have to respect those with the entrepreneurial skill to get things done. And in the case of the head of Nikola, he's managed to establish that they're going to build a plant in Arizona. They're outsourcing everything. We're under attack right now by the ducks, as you can see. They're inbound and trying to attack here. So the issue that pops up is that in the case of the building and management of the facilities in terms of fueling, they've also decided to outsource the manufacture of those, as well as the sort of implementation and operation of those facilities. So in general, Nikola has managed to outsource manufacturing of the vehicles. That's being done by another firm called Franklin. They do have some R&D facilities. The most mind-boggling thing about Nikola in my mind is that they've gotten orders for 800 trucks to be leased by the Anheuser-Busch division of InBev. And that's a real shock to me, given the fact that Toyota has been active in this space with real live vehicles on the streets for the last 20 years, and they were unable to get this order. And Nikola, with no working prototype that anybody has seen or driven, has been able to secure all of these orders. As we've reviewed numerous times, Nikola has articulated that Tesla's truck will not be able to compete with the hydrogen fuel cell, or full cell, as has been described by Elon Musk. And so we're all eager to see this truck working, because it's awesome what they've done in terms of getting orders by default, and setting up a nationwide network of fuel is the other part that they're getting done. So they're getting some real elements completed for this truck. It's just that we haven't seen a working prototype yet, so it'll be interesting to see how this is all going to work out. As we all know, Tesla has working prototypes. They're actually delivering goods and visiting customers in different places. They're unable to really get involved in heavy-duty production because most of the batteries currently are betrothed to the Model 3 and its expansion. And as we get into Europe and Asia, it will now become available battery-wise. And we also have the issue of the build-out of the plant. So I'm looking forward to, Tesla getting another year worth of build on the battery plant. And once that's completed, there'll be enough battery supply to service demand for the Model 3, as well as demand that the trucks are going to demand for those batteries, as well as the Roadster at that point. The next thing I wanted to jump into today is a discussion focused on what's going on with the buyout discussions of Tesla. Now, as I've been studying this, we're in day 3. The stock price of Tesla is up $30 in the process. A pretty nice move, and it helps the shorts lose a lot of money. 3 reasons why I don't think this buyout will work. Number 1, Tesla already has a large debt load, and that debt load requires service. So the bondholders from that are going to be huge influencers of what happens next, and potentially having the company take on so much debt that it goes out of business is not appealing to bondholders who want their money paid back. The second reason I don't think this flies, as I shared earlier, is that Tesla has an issue, which is it's in a capital-intensive business, meaning that it requires a lot of capital to get Tesla's mission statement accomplished. And so what this therefore means is that you have a situation where if they did do a buyout, they now still need to borrow money in order to service the growth needs of the company. And so I'm actually hoping the buyout doesn't occur, because I feel it could very well cripple the company in the process. And then the third reason is, obviously, Elon Musk has 20 billion of the 80 required for the buyout, which is a portion, but not enough of that cash to really get this done. Number 4 is that it's my feeling that in general, this effort by Elon Musk was really designed to inflict some pain on the shorts. And just like the shorts have been inflicting pain on Tesla's stock price by claiming that making unfounded claims, negatively impacting the stock and making money in the process, I'm fascinated because, as you'll note, Elon Musk saying he was going to do a buyout. He didn't say that. What he said is he's exploring doing a buyout. Now, if you state that you're exploring a buyout, everyone has to start asking the question, will the buyout occur? And this negatively impacts companies like hedge funds who are betting against the stock. And so they have to deal with the possibility of this, and that makes their jobs more difficult in terms of negative commentary on Tesla negatively affecting the stock. So Elon gets the benefit of a higher stock price, which means his net worth is up, the value of the company is up, the chance of going out of business is down, and you also get the effect of reducing the viability of many of these hedge funds who are now in deep trouble because they have huge paper losses that sooner or later they're going to have to take as the company does better. It's my belief that what we're going to see happen is that it's going to be found that the leverage buyout or the buyout does not occur, but by then, next month or two, I think we have better earnings numbers for people to base a higher valuation on Tesla on, which I think is generally a good thing. So yes, there could be investigations by the SEC, etc., but there is a difference between saying I'm buying out the company and we're exploring buyouts. And the exploration has been underway, but usually in a buyout situation, everything is lined up pre-announcement, and BMW, and even for Daimler-Benz. What's been happening, as you all know, is that the Model S is outselling all of the big models from the major makes in Europe. Now, those vehicles are really expensive, $100,000 plus, and people who are spending that much money could actually afford to still buy those vehicles and pay for the fuel that goes into it. So I think it's already a disaster that you have people leaving big name brands to come over to Tesla. But now, in the next, I think, 40 to 45 days, Tesla will start taking deliveries into Europe at the Model 3. And the already problem we've seen of M3s and 3 Series Beamers and others having declining demand will now start expanding to a larger number of vehicles in the fleet of all the major brands that depend on those sales to be successful. Um, you know, the interesting sort of component of this is the fact that, you know, if you're shipping a few Roadsters out or a few Model S's, it's one thing. When you start delivering 100,000 or 200,000 Model 3s a year to that market, you start to materially impact the sales of those firms and sales and profitability. Why I think this is a real huge nightmare is that this morning I had a chance to drive behind a Panamera. The Panamera is a $167,000 vehicle, and basically those owners wanted the performance of and sort of image of a high performance vehicle, but they wanted 4 doors so they could carry family, passengers, etc. And so the nightmare is if you have the $78,000 performance version of the Model 3 climbing into that marketplace and blowing the doors off of these cars that cost double or triple the price, it really hurts the motivation of owners to go and purchase these high-end vehicles when not only are fuel costs higher, not only is maintenance costs higher, but the initial purchase price is double, and there might be a little bit more prestige you get, but you have an underperforming vehicle that's twice the money and twice the cost to repair. You may recall that I did mention that one friend of mine got rid of his Panamera because they told him that the replacement of the brake rotors would cost $10,000. So he turned the car in off lease and leased a BMW 5 Series instead. So all this said, I do believe that we're in an interesting zone right now for Tesla for the next 30 to 45 days. The stock price currently isn't justified based on operations, but the nervous folks that are out there when it comes to the hedge funds of whether or not Elon Musk could pull this off could seriously destroy those firms because so many of them are short the stock. You know, furthermore, as I just covered, I really think that there's an interesting, fascinating phenomenon going on where there's a bunch of folks who could afford more expensive vehicles that are stepping back into the Model 3 because it is a totally different experience. Now, I will say that if I had unlimited cash, I still love the sound of the engines, you know, the cool elements of the cars, but there is something to be said for never going to gas stations and simply going in and powering them up. You know, I think it's Jonas and others. I actually wish the buyout could work. And there is money out there, for example, the Saudis and their investment. So there are people that are willing to put cash into this firm. The nightmare that's going on is that it's really not just about the buyout. It's about the fact that Tesla needs to invest something in a range of $20 to $30 billion over the next 3 years to build out a tripling in size of the Gigafactory, as well as to expand across the globe. And yes, there is debt capital available. In fact, the Chinese are going to put up most of the cash for the building of that facility there. But you know, the bottom line is that it would serve Tesla best interest to not do the buyout, even if they could do it, because I really think it would slow down the growth of the company because they need that debt capacity to further grow operations, and all of this would just slow that down. So, at any rate, I just want to thank you all again for taking time out. I can see that the comments rolling across: Peter, Donovan, Johannes, etc. Yeah, I definitely, you know, appreciate you guys taking time out to jump on and throw out comments that are worth debate. Please feel free to include those comments at the end so that we can maybe get a dialogue going about the issues you've raised on the page afterwards. Again, a reminder for your good health: get some 5-pound weights, put them on your ankles, 20 leg lifts a day per leg strengthens your quad muscles, which reduces the stress on your knees, no knee replacements, and it could be a major quality of life extender in the process. Also remember the 5-2 or the paleo diet recommended by a doctor friend. I like the general idea. I recommend you consider it as well. At any rate, this is Greg for Tesla Fan Insight. Tschüss, German, au revoir, French, Lahitraot, Hebrew, Choda Hafez, Farsi, Farvel, and in Jamaica we say, enough respect, walk good man. I'm going to take you guys out with a further view of the boats and water here at Anacostia Park.